Hi everybody, and welcome to the first in a series of MASH sessions videos from the international magazines, Exhibition World and Conference and Meetings World. We are joined today for the first one by Max Fellows. I'd like to say hello.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you or see you.
Max is a UK event professional who has got quite a few new projects on the go since the pandemic has started, which we are going to hear about today, including a virtual event directory, the continuation of the mentoring scheme, which you've had set up for several years, and some other bits which we would like to hear about. So I guess I'd like to start with the virtual event directory being kind of your newest project. What was the impetus behind setting up the virtual event directory?
Yeah, so I mean, it all came to fruition where, unfortunately, through redundancy, as so many other kind of event professionals have found themselves, there is a period of time in which actually you have to think, and rather than being on the go kind of at 110 miles an hour as we all are, it just provided an opportunity to not only kind of engage with peers and networks and some of the mentoring community that Elevate had been working with on season 4, but also then kind of having a look to see kind of what was taking place in the industry. And obviously the incredible influx of new innovation around virtual event platforms and things like that has been incredible. With, I think it's over 80% now of platforms that now exist have been created in the last 12 months. And so what was evident is that whilst we're all very much at the same kind of starting point and having to learn again about new technologies, new ways of engaging audiences, actually there wasn't one central place to go and find some of this information. So we were having a chat proactively, myself and business partner Lex Butler of Wolf and White, and it just became apparent you have probably about 20 or 30 odd kind of venue finding type suppliers or platforms. But now with this incredibly new, but also complex kind of platforms and technologies coming through, there wasn't that place, that single one directory or that single one kind of platform to go and to be able to put in your requirements, and up would come a list of 5, 10, 15 platforms or providers or service offerers that you could then compare and actually brief. And so it's exactly kind of what we set out to build. And so Virtual Events Directory is a platform and directory in its very nature, helping event professionals, agencies, brands directly find suppliers. So we've got 7 key categories, from fulfillment, so sending out what would be packages, food parcels and so on, all the way through to engagement, content creators, script writers, through to what would be the traditional kind of conferencing platforms and everything in between. The other part to it, though, is that whilst there's all this new innovation and information, there wasn't also somewhere to really go as a free kind of a place, if you will, to go and find some of this information, a free portal to get some of that knowledge. So we created we've done it on a 70-30 split. So 70% of the site is dedicated to finding incredible suppliers, and there are amazing ones now. And we've got over 200 on there in the space of, well, it's been now kind of 7 or 8 weeks. But we've also got the knowledge section. So we have incredible interviews with the likes of Secret Cinema, who talk about creating immersive experiences online, adapting sponsorship to new ways of rights activation or right holder activation, the power of networking, how to create the ideal, or should I say the new kind of virtual event of the future. And again, loads of these different topics that people have then shared or asked to hear more about. So we've created those. And what we're doing as we're continuing is building out the collection really of knowledge for people to kind of tap into. And it's entirely free for anyone to go in and have a look. We've also got a series of blogs and so on. So that's it really. So that's kind of Virtual Events Directory, and it's going from strength to strength. It's really kind of pleased to hear. And in the last, well, we launched just before the 1st of December, and since then we've had over 230 inquiries through the platform. So yeah, super happy, but we're just still striving to kind of build out the site and develop it with new release and new launch of search functionality in the coming weeks. So yeah, I hope that gives you a good idea of what it is we're doing and how.
And do you think that in a world where everybody has kind of gone online with their events, that discoverability is kind of the biggest problem people are facing, where how do we set our platform apart? How do we help people to find our platform? And something like the Virtual Events Directory can help to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. because with the new search functionality that we're going to be launching, you could search by function. So does it have Q&A? Does it have recordability? Does it host? Does it, can it have language translation and so on? These are key things that people are needing. And without doing 15, demos that take time, you can now go onto Virtual Events Directory, or you will be in the next few weeks, and search in, really specifically about what those requirements are to help that findability. What we're also finding is that whilst you have your typical kind of C-Vents and things, and Hopin's obviously been in existence for a period of time, as has Remo and a few of the others, you've also now got this plethora of gaming engines and developers that typically would create avatar-led games, who can do a pandemic pivot in the space of quite literally a few weeks, adapt and create something that is incredibly advanced, really advanced, and they'll bring those to market as well. So what we've got is this kind of communal gathering of all these different technology providers to make, it's amazing. Like I say, the innovation's been astounding, but it's all come together, and it's this kind of very loud, noisy kind of space now where everyone's just trying to learn as much as they can and find the right partners for the right project.
Definitely. And you've also been involved with the Elevate mentoring scheme, which just moved into season 5. So was it 2016 you set it up? So you've been going for a good few years.
So yes,
now.
This is our 5th. I thought it was actually 5th year last year, but no, this is our 5th year. I can't believe that it's kind of already at this place, this position. So myself and Melissa Noakes co-founded Elevate way back in kind of 2015. The idea came about, but it actually formalized in 2016. And Elevate was really founded because there was a distinct lack of continued education, really, and support for event professionals. Once you'd come into the industry, there was a real kind of expectation to progress through the ranks, but doing so just on experience alone rather than having continued education. And we started kind of asking a lot of our peers and networks, and we're very lucky to have a fairly good network within the industry, and it became apparent very quickly at just the extent of the problem. And so we created Elevate to help other professionals, from executives all the way through to MDs and owners. In our first season, we had 6 agency owners who, let's say, their business had plateaued. They were struggling with managing of certain teams or crisis and all those kind of things. So it affects everyone. And so in our first one, we had over 300 applicants, and we ended up having over 140 partnerships and pairings, which just kind of screams there is a need for it. And then year on year, what we've done is develop the program. We've added more structure, more coaching, kind of more support throughout it. And what we've also done is part of the application process, we've added a number of questions, which really takes a bit of a pulse check on the industry and what's going on. And the harrowing statistics is that only last year, over 80% of event professionals, and this is of the mentors and the mentees, felt they lacked the confidence to do the job that they were currently in and to operate at the level that we're at. And over 73% felt they lacked the skills and actual hard skills, should I say, and qualifications to do the role that they were tasked with. So it just kind of highlights the sheer kind of need for further support. And what we are and have really kind of made, bounds and efforts on is to open this up to everyone. So, male and female, like I said, about every kind of seniority. And really, it's trying to kind of build this community. So during last year, during the pandemic, we had 75 pairings, and I've never seen anything like it in terms of these pairings coming together. So we did bi-weekly content sessions around learning. We did weekly networking sessions. We had WhatsApp groups. And it was just incredible to see everyone coming together, supporting each other, helping, whether it's through redundancies, mental health, and everything in between, really. We then also tackled the big topics of Black Lives Matter and race within our industry. So we had a couple of huge sessions, things like let's talk about race and actions speak louder than words. So we're driving that forward as well with our huge kind of drive on the diversity front. And
I would imagine that, like we are now, a lot of the mentoring will actually be taking place over virtual platforms and video conferencing. Do you think that the kind of teaching will move in that same direction? Is it going to be do you think people learning and teaching more digital skills as well?
I think it's inevitable. You only have to look at the kind of the rising of a number of the new education platforms that specialize in purely kind of online and digital type skills. So I think that's inevitable. I am very much an extrovert, so I get my energy from people and being in person. As great as seeing your faces right now, I'd much rather having a coffee with you in person and chatting through, as I'm sure almost every single event professional would as well. So with Elevate, for example, is that we've structured it so that there is a minimum of 2 hours per month kind of committed to having a conversation. But the interesting thing about mentoring and the dynamic is that some people would love a massive chat on the phone without a video chat and one big download once a month. Others would be quicker, sharp bits of advice on text messages. Other might be WhatsApp with a complemented by a video chat. So I think everyone has their ways of learning and the ways of interacting. I still think that in person always delivers the best value and the best kind of support. I think you have all of the kind of subconscious and the physical cues and things that people pick up on, as well as the conversational side. So yeah, undoubtedly we're going to continue to learn, develop on the digital side, and it's going to keep increasing with new innovations for sure. But I definitely think there will be, as soon as we can, I think there will be the opportunities and people will jump at them to meet in person, and even if it's mentoring, for example, to have those kind of hour coffee chats, 2 hour coffee chats.
Definitely. And if we've got time, I also just wanted to quickly touch on, I know you've started your own consultancy, so I was curious to hear a bit about that, about how have you found, kind of finding people or finding business, I suppose, finding contacts. Is it a lot through LinkedIn? How have you found the kind of beginning your own consultancy?
Yeah, and it's something, and running my own agency actually was something that I think has always been a bit of a pipe dream, but I think the fear factor has always been the thing that stopped me, and be it imposter syndrome otherwise, and I think a lot of people probably can share that sentiment. The consultancy kind of bred out of a number of opportunities coming up, having been made redundant, and for whatever reason, those weren't quite right. But having had those conversations in a really constructive manner, a number of them actually developed into these more kind of consulting relationships. And a lot of the work doing is helping brands with their kind of agency review, because with this huge change, brands and big commercial businesses have had to change their requirements of agencies. So I've actually run a number of tender processes, also then kind of managing agencies. Fortunately, over my career, I've really kind of worked hard at providing value to peers and things like that through LinkedIn and in person. And what that's helped me is generate a great network. And we're also in a very, it's a brilliant industry, and being biased for sure, but it's got to be one of the best for kind of peer-to-peer support and networking. So that kind of came through. And really, as well as those direct-to-brand agency management type projects, is that actually helping agencies adjust and adapt and in their own pandemic pivot. So adapting their offering, their value proposition, and redefining what that looks like, helping structure the business, a lot of the time reducing overheads in order to structure them for a really kind of strategic sales drive and a business push into 21 and beyond. Because again, virtual's here to stay. And for those businesses that have hunkered down and buttoned down the hatches, what's going to happen is they will come out eventually, but the industry would have moved on, 100 miles by that point. And so it's a really pivotal time and key time for businesses. So a lot of what I've been doing is helping them with that. My experience has been about building agencies and successfully having helped take agency through acquisition and mergers and things. It's all been about growth, and now kind of using that cultural side as well as the brand and marketing experience. It kind of always come together almost kind of subconsciously, but actually it has into this kind of now consultancy offering. And some of the projects have been absolutely incredible, working, like I say, with big drinks brands, but also the likes of Secret Cinema on adapting and bringing out a new immersive product, as well as at a few agencies and so on. So yeah, I'm really fortunate. I mean, I hate to say lucky, because I've worked hard to get to the positions that I am, and a lot of it has then been continuing to be, I suppose, relevant and also helpful. A lot of it is about service and value at the moment. So you may have seen I started 5 in 5 last year. This is just my kind of 5 news summary stories in 5 minutes that I've been sharing. It doesn't really position me as a thought leader per se, because a lot of the news is out there. But what it does is, I think, help with the confidence that I can deliver on camera, so can present, but also that it helps kind of segment, as well as then, you know, other kind of thought leadership pieces that I've been developing and bringing out. So I think the whole thing is about value and also staying relevant, and doing so without it being kind of a token gesture. I also think consistency is really important. So if you're going to do something, be it a podcast, be it a vlog, be it whatever that case may be, I think you've got to commit to it, because I think everyone at the moment is looking for some kind of stable information, stable support with it. So yes, so that's kind of some of the things that I've been done, as well as a few other kind of strategies and approaches and things. I think developing the self-brand and a website is also a great shop front. I think I'm always needing to kind of update that. And lastly, I was just saying, testimonials have been a good friend of mine as well, whereas I've worked with some incredible brands over the last, you know, over the last 10, 15 years, but you know, a lot of them have come back to actually give personal referrals, as well as then over the last 6 months, referrals based on my work. So, you know, that again, testimonials are a really good way, I think, to demonstrate, you know, that what you've got, a client speaking to other clients really, and you're not having to, again, sell yourself. It's about providing kind of value and service. So those are a few kind of ideas, I suppose, and suggestions for other people if they're starting out or have a brand that they're looking to take to market. But I'm not going to say lucky. I'm saying I'm very fortunate, and I'm really enjoying the kind of the challenge and the journey that we're on, because I think there's going to be some really interesting avenues coming off this. Because yeah, I think at the moment we're all in this really exciting, turbulent, yes, and unfortunate for many, but it still is an exciting time, because I think with any sort of downturn, innovation is promoted and comes through.
Definitely. I think it's good to see people like yourself coming through with new ideas, and even during a kind of time of, you know, difficulty and redundancies, like you say, those new ideas will still be coming to the fore. And I think that we'll reap the benefit of those further down the line. But no, that's fantastic. Thank you for telling us about your new projects, Max.
Thank you very much for having me. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can do via LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm more than happy to always have a conversation if I can help. I always will, and I promise to always respond. Elevate is now open, as you mentioned, and thank you guys for your support on covering it. So applications are open for the next, I think it's 3 weeks. We'll then hold interviews, and then we'll kick off the program, which lasts 6 months. So make sure to get involved if you are looking for any sort of support or have experience and can offer that as well. Sorry to hijack your ending.
No, it's fine. That's fantastic. Thank you, Max. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.